Breaking this morning, a UN-backed agency has just released a dire report on the hunger crisis gripping Gaza. The report says it is at a tipping point, that famine has in fact been confirmed in Gaza City for the very first time. Now, this is happening as the Israeli military ramps up its push to take over the city of 1 million people. The report out by the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, IPC as it's known, one of the key findings has to do with children. The report says there's a rapid increase in child malnutrition, that hospitals are struggling with limited nutritious pastes and therapeutic milk supplies. The agency says the famine crisis is preventable and blames systematic obstruction of aid by Israel. This morning, just in, the UN human rights chief says starvation in Gaza may amount to a war crime. We're going to begin our coverage with senior international correspondent Margaret Evans, who's in Jerusalem, looking at these key findings as they've just come out, recommendations as well. Margaret, take us through this report, if you would. The first time ever famine has officially been declared in the Middle East.
That's right, Heather, and it's actually one of now 5 famines declared by the UN watchdog on hunger over the past 25 years. So we're comparing now Gaza City to famines in Sudan, South Sudan twice, and Somalia. It's very serious, and there are strict criteria that this body uses in conjunction with other partners, including Save the Children, other aid agencies around the world, of course, marshaled in this UN body, who are looking for the warning signs. The 3 main criteria to get to this declaration of famine are that a fifth of households have to be suffering from extreme difficulty in finding food. 30% of children under the age of 5 must be suffering from acute malnutrition, and 2 of every 10,000 deaths must be happening due to outright starvation. This is very serious, and of course we've been hearing of warnings from people on the ground for several months now, especially heightened since March, which is when Israel reimposed its very tight restrictions on what was going into Gaza. And of course, it banned one of the UN bodies from actually distributing aid relief into Gaza, the UN Refugee and Works Agency, which is specifically designed to help Palestinian refugees.
It is a famine openly promoted by some Israeli leaders as a weapon of war. It is a famine on all of our watch. Everyone owns this. The Gaza famine is the world's famine. It is a famine that asks, but what did you do? A famine that will and must haunt us all.
That was actually the UN's Under-Secretary General for the Office of Coordination of Humanitarian Relief into Gaza, who delivered a very powerful press conference this morning, saying that this is something that the whole world can see, given that this is a 21st century famine, one where we can all see it on our television screens, on our mobile phones unfolding.
UN Secretary General Margaret, as we're speaking, is also making comments about how, in his words, Antonio Guterres, we cannot allow this situation to continue with impunity, that this is a man-made disaster. We'll continue to bring further reaction to this new report, of course. But what is Israel's response?
Well, not surprisingly, Israel has categorically denied the findings in the report. The body that deals with coordination in Gaza and other parts of the occupied territories this is an Israeli body that controls access in and out of areas, has called it unfounded propaganda. The Israeli Foreign Ministry has said this is playing into the hands of Hamas. It accuses the UN watchdog of being swayed by Hamas, of collaborating with Hamas in terms of this report coming out. So a very strong rejection from Israel, unsurprisingly. And this report comes really on the eve, or actually as Israel begins what it calls a massive ground invasion into Gaza City, which of course is specifically where that report is saying famine now exists. That report also predicts that the famine will spread southwards to places like Deir al-Balah and Khan Yunis by the end of September under current conditions. These are the predictions.